What if I told you that the version of yourself that you present to the world isn't the real you? What if you've been living under layers of expectations, fear, and limitations, never fully unlocking the power, the passion, and the purpose that lies deep inside? Most people live their entire lives trapped in a false identity, one that was shaped by society, past failures, and self-doubt. They chase success, validation, and security, but still feel empty inside. Why? Because they have forgotten who they truly are. The real you is powerful. The real you is limitless. And today we're going to strip away the illusions and uncover that unstoppable force within. Rule 1, a moment of awakening. There comes a moment in life when everything changes. It's not always loud, it's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet realization that hits you in the middle of an ordinary day. Maybe you felt it before, that nagging feeling that you're not where you're supposed to be, that you're living a life that doesn't quite feel like your own. For some, it happens in a moment of crisis, losing a job, a painful breakup, a failure so big that it shakes the very foundation of who they think they are. For others, it's subtle, like waking up every morning and feeling like they're wearing a mask, playing a role that was assigned to them by someone else. Society told them who they should be, their family had expectations, their friends shaped their choices. But deep down, something inside whispers, "This isn't me." Think about a time in your life when you achieved something that should have made you happy, but it didn't. Maybe you worked hard to impress others, followed a path that seemed right on paper, or built a life that looked successful from the outside, but inside there was still an emptiness, a sense that something was missing. That feeling isn't failure. It's an invitation. It's the real you trying to wake you up. And then sometimes all it takes is one experience, one defining moment that rips the blindfold off. Maybe it's meeting someone who truly sees you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Maybe it's hearing a truth so powerful that it shakes you to your core. Maybe it's hitting rock bottom and realizing that the only way forward is to stop pretending and start living as your true self. The moment of awakening isn't about changing who you are. It's about remembering who you've always been. It's about recognizing the difference between the identity you've constructed to survive and the limitless, powerful being that's been buried underneath years of doubt, fear, and conditioning. It's the realization that you don't have to keep playing small, you don't have to keep seeking permission, and you don't have to keep proving yourself to anyone, because the real you, the one beneath all the layers, is already enough. Rule 2, breaking the illusion. From the moment we are born, we are told who we are supposed to be. Parents, teachers, friends, and society at large shape our identity before we even have a chance to discover it for ourselves. We're taught what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable and what isn't. Slowly, without even realizing it, we start molding ourselves to fit expectations that were never truly our own. As children, we are limitless. We dream without restriction. We don't question our worth, our potential, or our place in the world. But as we grow, we begin to absorb the beliefs of the people around us. We hear things like, "You can't do that. That's not realistic. Be practical. Don't stand out too much. Fit in." And little by little, we shrink. We start believing that who we are isn't good enough, that we need to modify ourselves to be accepted, to be loved, to belong. This illusion runs deep. It's the false identity we wear, the carefully crafted version of ourselves designed to please others, avoid rejection, and maintain a sense of security. We chase goals that aren't even ours, pursue careers that don't ignite us, and enter relationships that feel safe rather than fulfilling. And we tell ourselves this is just how life is. But deep inside, something feels off. No matter how much success we achieve, how much approval we receive, there's an underlying emptiness because we are living someone else's version of life, not our own. And then there's fear, the greatest enforcer of the illusion. Fear whispers, what if they don't like the real you? What if you fail? What if you're not enough? So we stay in the illusion, convincing ourselves that it's better to be accepted for a version of ourselves than to risk rejection by being authentic. We keep playing small, dimming our light, and holding back from the life we were meant to live. The illusion isn't just in our actions, it's in our thoughts, the stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not worthy of success, love, or happiness. are nothing but conditioned beliefs passed down through generations. They are not facts. But because we've repeated them so many times, they feel like truth. We've built an entire identity on them, and until we break that illusion, we remain trapped, living as a fraction of who we truly are. The real prison isn't the world around us, it's the limits we've accepted in our own minds. Rule 3, owning your truth. There comes a time when you have to make a decision. Stay trapped in the version of yourself that the world expects, or step into the power of who you truly are. Owning your truth isn't about becoming someone new, it's about shedding everything that isn't you. It's about standing in your power unapologetically and claiming the life you were meant to live. But let's be honest, this isn't easy, because the moment you start embracing your real self, the world will push back. People who benefited from your silence, your compliance, your need to fit in will resist. They will question you, doubt you, maybe even try to bring you back into the version of yourself that made them comfortable. That's when most people retreat. They second guess themselves. They wonder if it's worth it, and they fall back into the illusion. But here's the truth. No one is coming to give you permission to be yourself. No one is going to validate your journey or clear the path for you. That's your job. Owning your truth means no longer waiting for approval, no longer seeking permission, and no longer apologizing for who you are. It means understanding that your voice, your vision, your dreams are not up for negotiation. This requires a level of honesty that most people avoid. You have to strip away the excuses, the justifications, and the stories you've been telling yourself about why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's not possible. You have to be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what do I really want? Who am I when no one is watching? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? And then, here's the hardest part, you have to act on it. Because knowing your truth isn't enough. If you don't live it, you're still trapped. It's in the daily choices, the small but powerful decisions that align you with the life you are meant for. It's saying no to things that no longer serve you. It's speaking up when you'd rather stay silent. It's walking away from relationships, jobs, and situations that dim your light. It's stepping into the discomfort of growth because you refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And yes, it will be uncomfortable, there will be moments of doubt, people will leave, but the right ones will stay. And more importantly, you will stay fully aligned, fully alive, fully free. Rule 4, the power of self-belief. Everything in your life, the successes, the failures, the risks you take, the opportunities you let slip away, it all comes down to one thing, what you believe about yourself. Not what others believe, not what society has conditioned you to think, but what you believe deep down when no one is watching. Self-belief isn't just a nice idea. It's the foundation of everything. It's the difference between the person who dreams but never takes action and the person who turns their vision into reality. It's what allows people to rise from failure, push past rejection, and create extraordinary lives against all odds. Because here's the truth. The world will never believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Think about it. How many times have you let doubt stop you? How many opportunities have you walked away from because you told yourself, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes? That voice in your head isn't reality, it's conditioning. It's the result of every limitation you've ever been taught, every criticism you've internalized, every moment of fear that convinced you to play small. And if you don't rewrite that narrative, it will control your life. Because the truth is, self-belief isn't about talent, intelligence, or luck. It's about conviction. It's about deciding before anyone else does that you are capable, worthy, and powerful. It's about trusting yourself even when there's no evidence yet, even when others doubt you, even when you don't have all the answers. The most successful people in the world weren't always the smartest or the most talented, but they had one thing in common. They believed in themselves long before anyone else did. And here's what happens when you truly believe in yourself. You stop waiting for validation. You stop needing approval. You stop looking at your past as proof of what's possible and start creating your future based on what you decide. You start taking action, not because you're guaranteed success, but because you refuse to let fear keep you stuck. you become unstoppable. Not because you never fail, but because failure no longer defines you. Most people wait for permission to feel confident. They think, once I succeed, then I'll believe in myself. But that's backwards. Success doesn't create belief. Belief creates success. If you don't believe in yourself first, you'll never take the risks, never push through the obstacles, never show up fully for the life you want. And if you don't show up, how can you ever win? So ask yourself right now, what would my life look like if I had unshakable belief in myself? What if I acted like success was inevitable? What if I stopped doubting and started deciding? Because the moment you do that, everything changes. Rule 5, unleashing your potential. There is a version of you that you haven't met yet, a version that is stronger, more confident, more capable than you've ever imagined. It's not a fantasy. It's not wishful thinking. That version of you already exists. It's just buried beneath fear, self-doubt, and years of conditioning that have made you believe you're smaller than you truly are. Unleashing your potential isn't about becoming someone else. It's about peeling back the layers and allowing the most powerful, authentic version of yourself to emerge. But let's get one thing straight. Your potential will never be unlocked by accident. It won't just happen one day when the timing is perfect, when the stars align, or when someone else gives you permission. You have to demand it from yourself. You have to decide that you're done settling, done hesitating, done letting excuses dictate your future. Because every day that you wait, every moment that you second guess yourself, you are robbing the world of what you are truly capable of. Most people live their entire lives using only a fraction of their potential, not because they don't have the ability, but because they don't push themselves beyond what feels safe. They stay in their comfort zone, doing what's familiar, avoiding discomfort, fearing failure, and then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they're not where they want to be, why life feels uninspired. The truth is, your potential is on the other side of struggle. It's on the other side of challenge, of risk, of pushing yourself past the limits that you think exist, but are really just illusions created by fear. Think about the times in your life when you truly felt alive, when you accomplished something you once thought was impossible, when you stepped up in a way that surprised even yourself. That wasn't luck. That wasn't some rare moment of inspiration. That was you operating at a higher level, tapping into your true power. And if you've done it once, you can do it again. The only difference between people who achieve greatness and those who don't isn't talent. It's the willingness to step into the unknown, to take action even when they don't feel ready, to chase their vision with relentless intensity. So ask yourself, are you truly using everything you've got? Are you waking up every day with the determination to push past your limits, to demand more from yourself, to stop making excuses and start making things happen? Or are you coasting, playing at half sped, hoping that someday, somehow, things will just click on their own? Because the truth is, nothing changes until you change. Nothing gets better until you decide to level up. The power has been inside you this whole time. The only question is, when will you finally unleash it? Rule 6, take the first step now. There's a moment in everyone's life when they realize they can no longer wait. No more waiting for the right time. No more waiting for confidence to magically appear. No more waiting for someone else to tell them they're ready. That moment is now. Because if you don't take the first step today, then when? Next week? Next month? Next year? How many more days, months, or years are you willing to let slip by while you stay stuck in the same patterns, the same doubts, the same excuses? Most people never start not because they don't want change, but because they convince themselves they're not ready. They tell themselves they need more time, more knowledge, more experience. They think they need to have it all figured out before they begin. But that's not how transformation works. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes through action. The path doesn't reveal itself while you sit still thinking about it. It reveals itself when you start walking. Think about all the times in your life when you hesitated, when you knew what you needed to do, but fear held you back. Maybe it was fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. And so you waited. And what did waiting give you? Did it make you stronger? Did it make you more prepared? Or did it just create more doubt, more regret, more frustration? The truth is, hesitation is the enemy of progress. Every second you hesitate, you are reinforcing the belief that you are not capable, not ready, not enough. But here's the good news. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. The first step doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It just has to be real. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's writing down your goal and committing to it publicly. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to work on your dream. Whatever it is, the power isn't in the size of the step. The power is in the decision to move forward. The truth is, the life you want, the one where you are fully alive, fully free, and fully yourself, is already within your reach. It's not a distant dream. It's not reserved for the lucky few. It's waiting for you to claim it. But nothing will change until you decide to change. You've had your moment of awakening. You've started to see through the illusion, the false identity you've carried for so long. You now understand that your real power lies in owning your truth, in believing in yourself even when no one else does, and in unleashing the potential that has been inside you all along. But knowledge alone is never enough. The real transformation happens when you take action. There is no perfect moment. There is no magic sign telling you it's time. The only thing that matters is what you choose to do now. Will you let another day pass trapped in the same limitations, the same patterns, the same excuses, or will you step up, take control, and start living as the person you were always meant to be? This is your life, your story, your time. Stop waiting, stop doubting. The real you is ready to emerge. Now, go make it happen.